Hey YouTube, welcome again to the Vegan Brothers channel. If you haven't done so already, please check out my brother's video, link in the description box below. He did a great job of introducing himself and talking about our channel and the future direction it's going to take. It's now over to me to say hi and talk about my journey to becoming a vegan and kind of what I want to get out of this channel and that kind of thing. Before we get into that, I guess the first thing you've probably noticed is that we're completely different in terms of visual appearance. Brother's got the tattoo all up the arm, big earrings, has always been the more artistic one, the guy who's I guess a bit more outgoing. I, on the other hand, typically have been more analytical. I was more focused on my study through high school, more focused on my career up until recently. I mean, not to say that I'm not focused in terms of improving myself and all those kind of things, but a couple of years back I wanted to live that kind of corporate lifestyle, have a good paying job, and thought that was, I guess, the ideal of success. And to be honest, that's how kind of society puts it, that model or idea is what is required to be successful in our society. So my life with going vegan has been a big part of that, and also just recognizing that life is meant to be lived, and there's no point being here on this earth if you're just locked away in an office for 80 hours a week and not doing the things that you're passionate about and the things that you love. So that's kind of where I'm at now. Sure, I want to be successful, but I want to be successful in other ways. And one of my passions at the moment is running. I'll talk about that a little bit more later. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to, I guess, contrast both my brother and myself, because I am what most people would expect a teenager and young adult to be, or to aspire to, up until about 12 or 18 months ago. You know, I was the kid who was, you know, focused at school, studied hard, went to university and wanted to get, you know, this big high paying job and see where that took me. But my brother going vegan, as well as me recognizing, as I said, that life is meant to be lived, kind of did a whole 180 on that, and now I enjoy my life more than ever. So yeah, before I get into kind of me personally, I thought I'd talk a little bit about my brother and when he went vegan, because that has shaped my life in a lot of ways. And as I said, my brother went vegan first, which is, you know, he's the younger one, so normally you'd say, oh, the younger one follows the older one, but you know, I'm following my brother because I can see he's passionate about it, and it's not following in the sense of I just do what he does, but he's inspired me and directed me and helped me realize how important health is. Had I not followed this path, you know, maybe in 40 years time I'd be some, you know, 60-year-old fat middle manager at some finance company or something, about to have a heart attack. You just don't know where life would have taken me, really. So don't even want to think about where that would have taken me, to be honest. So yeah, my brother went vegan when we were in high school, and as you can imagine, when he came home, we live in a, I guess, fairly typical Western family. He came home, I'm going vegan. And I was like, well, what the hell's a vegan? I mean, I probably didn't even know a vegetarian. I'd heard of the word vegetarian, but if someone said to me they were vegetarian, I'd probably call them nuts. And then to hear my brother say, oh, I'm going vegan, I was like, well, hey, what the hell's a vegan? And he was like, oh, well, we don't eat animal products. And I was like, well, why the hell would you want to do that? And, you know, he'd try and explain a few things and say, all right, well, what about protein? And he'd be like, rattle off a few more things. Oh, calcium, man, you've got to have your calcium. Like, where do you get calcium? And he'd tell me, and I mean, it was so strange. Like, I'm an analytical person. I should have gone away and kind of done the research and gone, okay, well, yeah, no, he knows what he's talking about, and yes, you can, you know, you don't need to eat meat. Why? And then I'd realize why. But I guess I was, again, with society, like, in terms of, you know, how you grow up and everything, I just thought it was natural and normal to eat meat. I guess it's through ignorance. Like, I was saying these things to my brother through ignorance, not because I wanted to hurt his feelings or say, you know, call him stupid or anything. I was just ignorant to the fact that there's no need to eat these things. So yeah, I mean, it probably would have been a bit tough for my brother to come out as like the sole champion in our area and say that he's going vegan, because, you know, not only was I his brother asking these questions, I imagine a lot of his you know, other friends were doing it as well. And yeah, so I mean, he went vegan, and to be honest as well, around that like period of time, at the moment, like, I don't think me and my brother have ever been closer, which is kind of strange because he's in Germany now and I'm in Sydney. But like, if you knew us, we are, you know, we're really close as brothers, and we were really close as children. You know, always played together, even if he did kind of beat me up sometimes when I wanted to play Super Nintendo and he wouldn't let me. But as kids we were really close. Now we're super close. But I guess through that like high school period, probably about 14 to 17, I was so focused on my study and kind of that side of things, and I also in my own business. I was like working as well, worked from quite a young age. And my brother, on the other hand, was like rollerblading and more sports orientated, which again is weird because I've kind of done a 180 on the sports side as well. And, you know, drinking and that kind of thing, as he touched on in his videos. So like we kind of drifted, I guess, during that period. We were just so different. We didn't really spend much time together, and add to that him being vegan, and because I wasn't, you know, on the same wavelength, I was like, what the hell, man, like this is crazy. And as I said, it was through ignorance. And, you know, after it took me a long time, you know, 4 or 5 years maybe. Once I became vegan, I then apologized to him and said, dude, like, why the hell did I ever say those things to you? It was pretty slack, to be honest. Like, here I am, your brother, and you're saying this, that you're going vegan. I'm like kind of shooting you down and calling you crazy. So yeah, that's kind of how I was first impacted when my brother went vegan. And it is kind of weird because I mean, we were so conditioned to having, you know, in society, you got to eat meat, you got to drink milk, you got to eat cheese, you got to have eggs, like, you got to do it, man. And you know, even in primary school, we had this van that would come around called Healthy Harold, and he was dressed as a giraffe, and he'd sit down and talk to you about how important it is to eat meat for your protein and drink milk so you get strong bones. And I mean, I'm sure if I looked him up now, I mean, he must be sponsored by like some, you know, farm co-op or something. I don't know, man. It was just, you know, it's propaganda essentially. Like, you got to have this. Like, there was no, oh, well, if you want your calcium and that, you can, you know, go have some leafy greens. It was like, yeah, milk, cheese, you know, you're going to be sweet. So again, that's that whole conditioning thing. And then it's ironic looking back on it now, because like my brother, you know, the Healthy Harold was in primary school, but my brother went vegan in high school. And then here I was saying to him, like, dude, like, you can't, like, why wouldn't you eat meat? Like, what's wrong with eating meat? But then as kids, on the weekend, when we go for like a swim in our pool, we had these like beetles. They're called Christmas beetles. They're like about this big, 5 or 10 cent piece here in Australia. And they'd climb into the pool and then down like the Pebble Creek, and they'd fall in the water, and then they couldn't get out, and they'd be drowning. And we'd get in the pool, and the first thing I ever did, I always remember, all the time, I'd go around the pool and I'd scoop out these bugs and put them back on the grass so that they could live again. So I was saving like a beetle in the morning or the afternoon. And then for dinner, I was like, well, yeah, mum, like chicken, what's for dinner? You know, steak, whatever. So it's just odd. And I guess it goes to show, like, in our heart, at a base level, we care for animals. There was no reason. Why would I save a beetle unless I cared? You know what I mean? Like, it took time. Like, there's no, besides caring and compassion, there's no other logical reason to save it. You know, I'm not going to get anything out of it. But you just do it because you know it's right. You feel sorry for the little guy drowning there. So, yeah, it was just odd. And